Hi, I'm Cheryl Brunette, and today I'm going to teach you how to fix a snag in your knitting.
How a snag happens is you're wearing something that's knit or carrying something that is knit on fairly loose gauge like this, and a nail is sticking out or a twig, or there's a puppy dog with a sharp tooth, and somehow one of these stitches gets caught on that pointy object. I'm going to use a crochet hook here and show you what happens. And because you're in motion and you keep moving, it's one of those immovable object things. Let me see if I can pull it. And it pulls like crazy, and you get this kind of a mess. Well, how do you fix something like this? I'm going to use a double-pointed needle. You can use any tool that you want to fix this. You could use a crochet hook. I think that that would be kind of cumbersome. I prefer something that's pointy and thin. What you see, if you open up your knitting a little bit, is that the stitches that were pulled very tight, there's one right there. It's still there. It almost disappears. Here's one there. I didn't do a very good job of pulling this as tightly as I'd like to. Let's try again. Let's see if I can pull that a little bit tighter. There we go. Now, I've got this huge loop, and what it has happened is that whole line of stitching has disappeared onto the other side. So how am I going to find that? Well, I'm going to start by coaxing it back. The first step is simply to pull back against the direction of the loop. Oh, see, if you look very closely, here are those stitches. They've been pulled so tightly that they've almost disappeared. See how tight that one is? There's one right there. Here's one right here. They're itty bitty. You can hardly see them. So keep coaxing it back. Oh, there's another tiny little stitch right there. Can you see that one? Right there. See it? How miniature it is? That's the next one. There's another very miniature one right there. That one is practically disappeared. You can't even see it in this context. So I'm going to coax these back until they're in their proper positions. It requires a little bit of patience. Tug. Tug it back against the direction it came in. Oh, the more you tug, the more you work it back, the more it will open up for you. Notice that it is the thread from the bottom side of the stitch that is being pulled back. The one from the top side of the stitch is pretty much in the proper position. It just pulled from one side. You might have to do this several times. Oops. Okay. Oh, see how that one had absolutely disappeared. Tiny little thing in there. Okay, at least I can see all the stitches now. If you turn it over, you can see that it's still distorted, and of course this is another clue that it is still distorted. So let's go back, open those up some more. This time I'm going to pull a lot through, because I can see these stitches a little bit better. I'm following where that thread goes. Comes around there. This again is learning to read your knitting. Ooh, it's this last stitch that still is tight. Oh, there's the very last one that was pulled. Again, that one is still the tightest of all of them. But I have all this thread over here. So let me pull again. And in fact, I'm going to pull that stitch to normal size. And I'm going to pull each stitch to normal size on my way back. And the curliness of the yarn, it held the stitch definition. That almost helps you know exactly where to pull that stitch. It almost lands exactly where it belongs. It seems like you still have a lot of yarn here, and you do, but these ones toward the left, the ones that were the last to get reconstructed, are still very tight. They're going to take up a lot of this yarn. See how my loop, and see, here's that very last stitch, I think it's the last one that was, there we go. And there's the one next to it. Okay, you can see that I still don't have this, it's still kind of wonky looking. Let's hold it up so you can tell. Now they look very large. Well, the yarn did get stretched. Oh, maybe it got stretched in this direction. Here's another stitch that's very tight that got pulled from the other direction. I didn't see that one, so I'm going to go back and work it in the opposite direction a little bit. And now, as I'm getting toward the end, I'm really looking at the stitches that surround the one that I'm working on. This is the one that I just shaped. And I want it to be very close in size, engaged to the ones that are around it. Also, once you have finished this process and you steam it, or there, let's get that little tight guy. Steam it or wet block it, however you block it. Still a little bit loose. I'm going to pull this one tighter. But notice how you can coax those threads simply by following the pattern. Okay.
So as you see, what once appeared to be a big problem is actually pretty simple to fix. Next episode, I'm going to show you what to do when the snag gets pulled so far and so hard that it breaks the yarn and makes a hole in your knitting. Until then, be brave and enjoy your knitting. Get started. Oh, I'm just sitting here looking at the camera. Okay then, let's start again. Alrighty.